knowing that I could really get to the people on the ground. That was my aha moment, and people would be they would be willing to engage because it was anonymous, because there was going to be no reprisal, and they weren't going to be dismissed. ThoughtExchange was a really interesting proposition to me in my role, where I have a global remit, but lots of disparate people working across all of the continents in many sales offices, and some of them remote. And I wanted to be able to make sure that I was staying close to those individuals and understanding what their needs were in the roles that they had, and during an immense period of change for our organization. Change is not unusual in international SOS. We're an innovative company. We're constantly, horizon scanning, seeing what our market needs and making sure that we're evolving. But in that, we also expect our people to change quite rapidly and quickly. And traditional surveys, where we used to try and get feedback about how they were feeling about things, are really quite rigid in many respects. And I found that I was baking in my bias. I was asking questions in such a way that I would potentially get a pre-drawn conclusion from, or I wasn't actually aware of some of the questions that I should be asking because I had a blinkered perspective on things. So I wanted to introduce ThoughtExchange so I could have a more open dialogue with the account managers in the field and understand what their challenges were and how we could then address those challenges. I think it also shows that you've got a huge amount of respect for your employees by having open-ended questions. It should be transparent. We should be able to have discussions with our employees and be aware of what their needs and concerns are and address them. One of the other benefits of the ThoughtExchange is sometimes it's not about necessarily getting the people to tell you ideas that you haven't had, but validating your direction as much as anything. So you can be confident in the investments that you're making, and before you go forward with something that you already have in mind, it's a good validation point. So we've used it to validate our thinking, but also to understand what it is they need from us as a management structure to be successful. And also to, I think, importantly, we've tried to encourage people to share what has been successful to them. So it's not just a forum where people are talking about, well, I need this and I need that, I don't have this, but also people having the opportunity to say, this is really working very well for me, and this is why it's working well for me. We have used ThoughtExchange not just in the commercial setting, but as a chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Council, I've also used ThoughtExchange to look at some of those agenda topics. Some of these questions and points that we want to have a dialogue on are very sensitive, and some people are cautious to come forward and maybe show that they don't have the knowledge that they should have about a specific topic, that they would be embarrassed to be putting their hand up to say they're ignorant on. People have questions about these things that they don't necessarily feel comfortable having in an open forum. But with ThoughtExchange and it being anonymous, people can feel comfortable to ask questions and to guide us on what resources they need to be better equipped as managers and as peers, and just as people generally. I think people want to have information so that they can learn. So it's a great way for us to find out what resources and support we can give to all our to help them be better educated and work better together. I recommend it to lots of people, even outside the company. So, it's a great tool, and it's really changing how people can interact with their employees, especially disparate populations. So, absolutely recommend it to everybody.